Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Paper Moon. It's a movie that came out in 1973. This is a black and white film. This is a con man film, kind of a comedy, crime, drama that I had recommended to me, heard people talking about it on a podcast that I enjoy about movies, and they were talking about con man movies. So when I saw this movie available, don't remember what service it was, but it was available to me, I absolutely hit play, enjoyed it, was not even planning on reviewing it. I was just watching it for mere entertainment, purely entertainment purposes. And I fell in love with this movie and instantly became one of my all-time favorites. A great con man movie, but also a great movie between a child actor and an adult actor who, in this movie, played by Ryan O'Neal and Tatum O'Neal. So related. And the chemistry is 100% evident on screen. Some of the conversations and arguments they have are epic. This kid is amazing. Just such a fun movie. Takes place during the Depression. You have your lead character is a con man, basically looking in obituaries for recently deceased people and going door to door with Bibles that are monogrammed with the surviving spouse, and saying that the person who recently passed away had ordered this Bible for them and is going to refund their deposit that they made because they passed away, right? And, of course, everybody that he goes to, every home that he goes to, hearing that this was going to be a gift from their departed loved one, just ends up buying this Bible at whatever, and he's just got a little monogram stamp and a box of Bibles that he's going door to door. And at one of these funerals, at one of these moments where he's trying to con people, he gets saddled up with this kid who was, left when her parent passed away, and he is charged with the responsibility of taking this kid to a relative. She has no living relatives anymore. It's just him. And in doing this, he also gets some money, right? And this kid finds out, realizes that she's being used by this con man who may or may not be her actual parent, right? It's very ambiguous whether they are or not, but it's a road trip kind of a movie where this girl is forcing him to repay her the money that he ended up making by conning these people. And also along the way, this girl is learning the tricks of the trade. Not only learning how to con people, but also implementing it. And it's amazing. Some of the shots of this, first, it's filmed absolutely beautifully. The shot compositions throughout this film are amazing. This is a movie, black and white film, but made in the 70s. This is a film that feels like it was made today in a lot of ways. Obviously, some of the performances are definitely reminiscent of the 70s, but as far as just it's beautifully filmed, well written, and the performances by this kid that like smokes cigarettes and enjoys listening to these radio stories. It's just epic. And she's like becomes like the boss of this guy, right? She is the girl boss of this con man as they go trying to hustle their way across the country. I loved this movie. So much fun. Like, you see the bond that they form. You see even when he ends up picking up a showgirl to take her to another town, like, you see how this girl manipulates him into leaving her. You see how she ends up basically becoming the brains of the situation, right? he does enough to teach her the tricks of the trade, but she ends up really being the mastermind behind everything. And it's just so much fun. Such a fun movie. Like, it has, the great aspects of a road trip film. It has the great aspects of a con man film. It definitely made me want to watch more con man movies. And just some of the shots of this movie are amazing. The end, how it ends, where this girl is like running back to him after being dropped off at her relatives, and because he still hasn't paid his debts. And the shot of her running over the hill through the vision of the side mirror on this truck that they had to trade to get away from the cops that are after him is just amazing. It makes you like my heart was like melting. I was in love with it. Like, I wanted them to keep going, right? It's so much fun. And she also brings morality to the situation, where he is kind of like treating everybody the same, hustling the same amount. She knows to hustle more from the people that have the means to lose more money, and is generous and in giving to people that have nothing, right? She brings some morality to the whole thing, which I absolutely love that aspect of it too. The fact that she's a chain smoker, that she's like obsessed with these radio programs, which is like, just this fun thing where she's in charge of this grown man who's trying to get rid of this person, right? Who ends up getting stuck with this person, but then they end up, she ends up helping him run his cons. It's really fun. Let's take a little break from the show to promote. If you sign up for Inspired Disorder Plus for 1 year specifically, you get a free painting. So a year subscription of Inspired Disorder Plus is $50. The painting, the majority of them are $100. So it's a $150 value signing up for 1 year of Inspired Disorder Plus. So not only do you get a free painting, but you also are subscribed to Plus for a year, which means that you can binge this show, The Ray Taylor Show, ad-free, the full week, ad-free, available on Monday. You also get discounts that are members-only pricing type of deals. All of the podcasts that I've produced in the past, close to 20 different podcasts I've produced, hundreds of episodes. There's also my personal blog. You can ask me anything if you want to start podcasting or get into art. All of that stuff available in addition to a free painting when you sign up to 1 year subscription of Inspired Disorder Plus. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. And now let's get back to the show. There's like this obsession with bone structure that like is the only type of proof that they have that she is in some way related to him, which is definitely something that was very common. Like, I remember like bone structure being like, and the discussion of genes being a very important topic of conversation when linking people and their ancestors. And it's just, it's interesting to see it in this movie. So like, they have a similar jawline, and that's why she must be his daughter. It's fun. And the fact that they are father and daughter in real life, some of the arguments they have are like the best, the funniest moments, where she is like putting him in his place, and he can't do anything because she's right, because she's the brains of it. She's the one with the smarts and helps him get out of a situation, even when they try to make a hustle where they end up selling this guy his own whiskey. I mean, this is during the 1920s, during Prohibition, and black market alcohol, was the drug business of choice. And it ended up the booze runner was brothers with the cop, because of course, even today the police and law enforcement benefit just as much off of drugs being illegal as cartels do. I mean, you look and see how much property is seized by the government in raids and whatnot, and how basically cartels pay a tax. You see that illustrated in so many shows and movies that have drug dealing in them, that there's always kind of a symbiotic relationship between the drug runners and the law enforcement, because they, the law enforcement wouldn't have anything to do if everything wasn't illegal. So it's kind of a fun situation in this movie where they think they're getting away with like a major score, and it ends up being kind of the downfall to everything. And even when he's running away from these cops, like they're trying to get away, even after, he gets beat up and they're trying to get over the state line, like it is so beautifully shot. Like the foot chase of him running away, and even the reality of back then of how you could just kind of lie about things, and there's no way to confirm or deny anything you say. Like people just kind of had to take people at their word for so much. And even with the kind of connectivity we have today, it's insane that that's almost coming back, where so much of society is just based on people blindly believing in what people on TV say, or people with money, what they say is the truth, labeled as the truth, is just blindly accepted, no matter how ridiculous. So even when information is effortlessly accessed, it's not valued as much as a story that you want to believe. Right? The story you want to believe is always going to be valued more than a brutal truth. But it's a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the acting. I enjoyed the performances. The foot chase was great. The arguments they have are great. The way she learns and how to manipulate and do all the cons, like they're doing, in addition to that Bible salesman con, she's learning how to do the change con, where it's like you go to pay for something and then you're like, as you're receiving change, you're like, oh, well, let me just trade you this for like a $5 bill. It's like, well, let me just give you another 5 and you give me a 10. And like in that exchange, end up getting whatever you want for free plus extra money. I remember somebody trying to run that scam on me when I worked at Costco in the pizza kitchen. And right, it's basically them using an element of confusion and trying to keep your brain on other casual conversation while they're trying to get money out of you. It didn't work with me, because it was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. And most people, some people, when things don't make sense, they step back and they reevaluate. And then other people just like, I don't feel like figuring this out. I'll just go along with the person that sounds like they know what they're talking about. But yeah, so great. How it ends with, like, when they finally reach the destination, like even after he gets caught, beat up by these cops, they cross state line. They don't care. They just want to get their licks in, because they want to get their money back. And they want to get this, punish this guy in vigilante justice. And right away, the girl's like, "Oh, like I've got plans. We can get right back on top." Like she just wants to keep going. She's addicted to that life. Let's take a little break from the show to promote gift certificates. If you want to purchase artwork for somebody, you have an art lover in your life and you think they would like my art, but you don't know what painting to get them. I have over 2,000 original pieces of art for sale in my store, along with shirts and prints and other things. So I can understand that being a bit daunting if you're trying to buy something for somebody else. Give them the gift certificate, and then they can go to my website, inspireddisorder.com, and they can buy whatever paintings they want. They can buy whatever prints they want. They can buy t-shirts. They can buy hats. They can buy all the different merch. Gift certificates, which are available currently at inspireddisorder.com. And now let's get back to the show. And even when she gets dropped off at a relative and she sees the life she's going to be living, this like boring life living with relatives she doesn't know, there's no excitement there. She misses the excitement of not only, and freedom of living that lifestyle of going cross country and just kind of scamming people out of money, and doing it in the way where she, it's more justifiable, I guess. A little bit more morality injected into the con game. But to see her when she runs over that hill, it's like a moment I was cheering. It was like, yes, yes. And of course, it's because, he ran out of, they had all his money taken, and he still owes her the $200, the initial debt that he owed her, right? It's perfect. It's perfect. And then, of course, the truck rolling away from them, right? The truck that has no brakes that, is their only mode of transportation. The ups and the downs of living that con man life is just so much fun. I absolutely love this movie. Whether it's kind of going back in time to a much simpler time where, like, even when they go to, like, the carnival, the circus, she's just kind of on her own, running her own scams while this guy's just getting in line show after show for the showgirls, right? And she's just on her own. You wouldn't do that today. You can do, like people get freaked out if they don't have constant watch on their kids. And just reality's different now too. I don't know. It's like it's a fun like trip back in time, but even not only in the filming of it being a 70s film, but it's like a period piece from the 70s of the 20s. Right? So it's like layers of time travel that you're doing going to watch this movie, which instantly is it's like one of my favorite movies. It's so much fun watching it. It's a movie that feels like it could be made today. Like, it holds up so good. Like, every aspect of it. I mean, you watch some 70s films. I watched some 70s horror films recently, and it's like so clear that they were made in the 70s. The types of performances you get, the style of acting of that time. Where this one, it feels way more modern than even the 70s. Loved it. Loved every aspect of it. Highly recommend checking it out if it's available on any of your streaming services. And if you haven't watched it in a while, go back and revisit it. It's an amazing movie. It's an amazing movie, and Peter Bogdanovich is the guy who directed it. It's based on a novel by Joe David Brown called Addie Prey, who is the name she went by, Prey being the fake last name. Screenplay by Alvin, Sargent, starring Ryan O'Neal, Tatum O'Neal, and Madeline Kahn. An amazing movie. I loved it so much, and instantly one of my favorite movies of all time. Check it out. Paper Moon.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.